Hey guys, this is Raplo and I hope you guys are doing great. So today I'm going to share one of my first journeys to Rishikesh from Chandigarh since I shifted here in 2018. Before shifting to Chandigarh, little did I know that it will be much easier for me to travel to the mountains since I was living in Chandigarh. But now I have realized since I have been living in Chandigarh for 2 years now, when you're living in Chandigarh, it makes things easier for you to travel to Himachal, but it is going to take same amount of time that it takes from Delhi for Uttarakhand. So I tend to avoid traveling to Uttarakhand, but I really want to because Uttarakhand is as beautiful as Himachal. That's why I try to cover living in Chandigarh. I try to cover most part of Himachal instead of going to Uttarakhand since I try to travel during the weekends so that I don't have to take many leaves from the office. So I took my bus from Chandigarh sector 43 that took me to Dehradun and I was arrived in Dehradun at around 3 a.m. The first thing that I do whenever I'm planning to travel that I don't plan anything. So same thing happened in this trip too. So when I arrived there at 3 a.m. little did I know that there are no buses to Rishikesh from Dehradun at this point in time. I was just being optimistic that I would arrange something, but unfortunately there was no taxi, no buses, but the taxi was charging very heavy. So I literally have to wait for about 3 hours in the bus stop and took the very first bus to Rishikesh from Dehradun. This was the second time I was going to Rishikesh. Before this, I was there in 2015 with my colleagues from the office, and that was by a car. But traveling solo is always amazing and a beautiful experience. So I arrived in Rishikesh at around 7 o'clock in the morning, and this is the first thing that you would see as soon as you get out of the bus stand. There are hotels on the roadside and where you can stay with your family if you're traveling with them. But my plan was not to stay in a hotel, rather I was actually couch surfing with someone in a hostel. So I decided to just get out of the bus and just keep moving forward with my GPS on. So my first destination was going to be Tapovan, where I stayed for the next 2 days. Rishikesh is a spiritual place. As I'm walking down to these empty roads, it seems like I'm not really getting into the mountains at all. It seems like any other cities in India. But as soon as I walked in, I started approaching towards my destination to Tapovan. I could feel those vibes and I could feel the journey has started for me now. Rishikesh is the yoga capital of the world. So after walking for about 15 minutes, I covered about 1 kilometer and reached to my first destination, Live Free Hostel, which is in Tapovan. If you guys are planning to go to Rishikesh and you are low on budget, I believe this is the fine place for you. Live Free Hostel provides you everything. You're provided by a personal room if you need, and if you need a dormitory, that is also available at good prices. The hostel has all the facilities that you're looking for. It has all the information that you need, and if you want to stay there for a while and cover the nearby places, they can provide you with all the information. So this is the common dining room for all the travelers, where you have a pool table. It is good to see in the evening all the travelers coming together at this dining hall and enjoying themselves. A lot of travelers across the globe come to this beautiful place and share their experience, and it is always good to hear their traveling stories and just experiencing what they have to share with us. It's a beautiful feeling. There are two reasons I always opt for a hostel rather than a hotel. The first thing is my budget constraint, and the second thing, when you're living in a hostel and you're traveling solo, you're basically opening up yourself for the others to interact with you. I always find it very interesting to stay in the hostel interacting with other travelers. Just next to the hostel, there is a beautiful cafe called Tart Cafe, which is pretty famous. And the reasons you would get to know as you come to this place in the evening. There are a lot of artists who would come together, play some good music and enjoying themselves. Just next to the Tart Cafe, there is one of the oldest cafes in Rishikesh, Beatles Cafe. And it is believed that once Beatles, when they arrived to Rishikesh, they dined here. So I just wanted to check and was very much curious what it has to offer. So as soon as you get into the cafe, you feel the vibes of that you're getting into a place which is tributed to Beatles, the music band, one of the finest musicians of early 80s. The menu of this place is very interesting. I got to try one of the Led Zeppelin's favorite sweet dish, caramelized banana with ice cream and with chilies. I know it's really weird combination, but trust me, it was really interesting, something that you must try when you're here. I'm sure most of you will be wondering how does this look like, so you can check out the description below. There's a link to my Instagram handle that can take you to that post and show you the picture of that dish. And trust me, it's amazing. There's one thing that I always confused about is there are two bridges in Rishikesh. One is Lakshman Jhula and another one is Ram Jhula. And I always forget which one is Ram Jhula and which one is Lakshman Jhula. So I believe this one is Ram Jhula. It takes you to the other side of the river with full of cafes and a whole market where you can buy souvenirs. So I wanted to check it out because I was looking for the Beatles ashram that I shot in my previous video. Overall, my Rishikesh trip was successful. I covered Beatles Cafe and I covered most part of it, and that I'll be sharing in the next video. So stay connected until then.